now. How good are these guys, and how good are they going to be when they play together?
Absolutely. And of course, not to undercut CLG right now, 4-3 is a respectable record. There was a lot of questions about how good Stixxay would be, how good he would be, how good is Smithy really? And CLG are still a top half of the standings team. When you've got players like Impact and GBM and the Immortals lineup, and CLG can hang with these guys, or beat them even. It's definitely still a very strong team here. So, a tough test for TIP, and a win that CLG, I think, should want to pick up here.
Oh, I don't know if there's ever a win you don't want to pick up.
That's
it's
true.
Like, oh, no,
I realized that I ended that sentence really poorly, but
I do that so often.
I know, I just cut myself down for no reason. But CLG, like, I think they're still favored in this match.
Yes.
And CLG would feel favorites coming in, and getting up to 5-3 is a really big deal.
Yes, it's a very big deal, because then you start competing for those top spots.
Yeah.
And CLG do actually have a lot to prove. Because right now, they've had some issues where it's inconsistency. They've had really great early game lane swaps, and they were the team that was known for that last split. And now coming in, there's been a lot of kind of wrenches thrown in their plan, but usually by themselves, where they try to go with high execution team compositions, and then they play it really well at the start, but then closing the game just seems to bite them.
Yeah, totally agree. Well, speaking of biting, though, 3 champions banned away from Darshan, going to take a bite out of his champion pool, plus the Corki first pick. Impulse, I think, have done a very good job of prepping their beginning of champion select to remove high-profile champions from CLG. That does give over the Rise and Kalista. And as much as those are high-priority champions, neither one actually wins all that frequently. I believe both are sub 50% win rates, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, what this leaves up for TIP is the double AD carry Lulu composition that's so popular now, where, I guess double marksman, sorry, Freak.
No, it's okay, I got you.
Corki does magic damage. Big discussion in challenge.
You're good, you're good. I know, yeah. I heard you say ADC yesterday, by the way, in your casts, and nice. On the analyst desk, I was ashamed.
I only remember when you're around.
Yep, it's okay.
But still, the double AD carry Lulu composition, I'm going to say it again, is extremely powerful, and a lot of teams actually try to go for it. But up against a Rise, you're going to need more engage on the side of CLG to reach a double AD carry composition when this Lulu gets locked in alongside the Corki.
Well, keep the backline safe. That's going to be the name of the day. Gate might be playing some Bard, which I actually like. Just locking up the Rise during his sort of passive supercharge could be fun. Either way, that's actually not going to be the pick right here. It's looking like them hovering around back and forth. It will be the Bard with Elise alongside, so Lulu potentially given away to CLG. TIP, you don't want it.
Yeah, a lot of threat of that Lulu, though. So if I'm CLG, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe I grab a support that has engage at this point. I give Afro Moon, maybe Morgana. I pull up for him maybe a Braum as well. Yeah, make sure that we have that engage. But
yeah, it is Afro missing his 2 best champions, which are Alistar and Bard here. So TIP have managed to steal another champion away. And I also think potentially that Lulu hover is trying to bait CLG into picking it. Hey, remember this champion that everyone really likes that's still up? You guys wanna pick this champion? And I occasionally see teams who will actually, their strategy in champ select will be hover this champion, then pick the other one, hope they go for it. I've actually heard analysts give me that information before. And CLG, whether it's a bait or not, look like they are gonna take the Lulu regardless, alongside Rek'Sai for Smithy.
Wow. I think that composition is just so powerful. Now, having the Lulu and the Rise for yourself, you pretty much don't need too much engage after that, because you just speed up the Rise, and the Rise gets a point-and-click route. So keeping him at an arm's distance is going to be rather tough.
Team Impulse now have to decide where that Corki is going as they round up their lineup. Fun thing for CLG is Rise and Lulu can interchange their positions, but they will be top and mid respectively, almost for sure. Rise comes into this game 0-7 in North America, by the way, so even though he's been popular, he hasn't found any wins yet. Yeah. Interestingly enough.
He dropped off a lot of teams' ban lists, mostly because of the fact that Cho'Gath was picked up by Huni in the top lane, so it was left open a lot by Immortals, but then also people were just playing Fiora into it. People are saying, oh, well, it's not a split pusher, so we get advantage over it. So we saw a bunch of Fiora versus Rise duels in bot lanes and top lanes. Oh, they found ways to counter it. And, ooh,
yeah. Quinn. Who wants double marksman? Let's go for triple marksman here. Corki in the mid lane, Quinn up in the top lane, Lucian at AD carry. All they needed was Jungle Graves, but it was banned. Then TIP could have had the dream team here. But Bard and Elise, the only ones bringing utility to the squad. The rest of them just trying to dump out damage. And we'll see how well Fang can roam around the map. He had a very good Graves game yesterday. Quinn is a little bit different, but another marksman for him.
Yeah, another dominant lane marksman in the top lane. Quinn is a champion right now that every time I talk to a team, they start talking about how much Quinn is a priority for them, but they don't want to pick her super early. But she doesn't really have too many great counters in the top lane, right? You can play Lysandra into it a little bit. You can also play Graves into it if that's up, but then you pretty much go even and it becomes a skill matchup. But the big appeal of Quinn is the roaming power, because all you have to do is ulti and run into fog, and you cause pressure on the map. And even if you roam to another lane, you're either getting your top laner's TP, or you're actually going to be able to roam, get there, 2 seconds before them, boom, you make a play happen.
Yeah, well, speaking of making plays happen, CLG actually swapped the lineup out at the last second. I've always been waiting for when that loot support would come out, and it has now. CLG picked, air quotes, their 2 solo laners, and then said, just kidding, who's going to play Zed into this Corki once they locked down if Corki was going to be in that mid lane after all. It is, so Huhi gets a counter matchup. You have to assume Lulu comes down to support. I actually like Kalista Lulu quite a lot. You have a lot of poke damage there, and you can probably out DPS Lucian plus Bard. So CLG have some powerful 2-on-2 setups here, and a lot of damage, and they still have that Whimsy to get their tanks into the front lines.
Yeah, and the Whimsy's, the Whimsy's actually going to help the Kalista speed up how fast she hops and complete that animation, so she can continue to chase people down and get more stacks.
Yeah, move speed is actually more valuable than you would think on Kalista. The actual, as you were saying, the actual speed of the hop, not the distance, but the speed of it, the time it takes to animate, is hastened by movement speed. So there is some synergy there, some things to look for, but we have finished up the lineup. So you guys at home, send your votes to @LollySports on Twitter. It's hashtag TIP win or hashtag CLG win to let us know which team you think is going to win this one. These teams are neck and neck in the standings, 1 win apart. A TIP win would tie them at 4-4. Meanwhile, CLG, with their earlier energy loss, could take command of their own standings, move up to that 5th win. This could be a good thing for CLG, and we'll see if they can do it as we get ourselves onto the Rift for Game 4 of the day.
Ooh, Doran Shield early for Huhi. Having kind of a defensive Zed here up against Purian with the exhaust to deal with the Zed damage later on this Corki. I'm really interested to see how they end up making this triple AD composition work when they don't really have a dedicated tank at all. Everybody's squishy on this team. So Huhi, if he gets split push pressure, he could pretty much just combo anybody on this team, no problem. Does have to worry about Quinn, though. Quinn can be quite troublesome.
Yeah, we've been seeing most of the basically non-crit focused marksmen will typically go Malva, Mortius, and Sterix Gage. Even the Callistas will do that now, just to be more durable because they're a little bit shorter range. They don't always have the waves getting out, and it's being a bit bruisery helps them not get bursted.
Well, also, it gives base damage increase and Callista's all total AD ratios on her Q and E, so she doesn't actually take a hit in terms of offensive ability too much when she gets a Sterix.
Yeah, the opportunity cost not quite as high for her. 2.5k apiece. We get ourselves another game. No one can start with bonus gold anyway, so that doesn't really mean much here. But Darshan will be chilling down to the bottom side of the map alongside his Rek'Sai teammate Xmithy. Mash trying to pull the minions back as much as possible, trying to help build a freeze. He is stutter stepping this pretty nicely.
Yeah. It's a blind lane swap here, actually, from both teams. Both calling it. I'm interested to see who gets the winning matchup here, because Lucian is a lot of pressure early. Bard is also a lot of pressure. Is Aphromoo expecting to see a double jungle here from a top laner? It looks like it.
Yeah, and look at that. The Gromp not going to be able to be taken. A little bit of damage dealt to Mash and Gate. They will regen that before too long, but no real CS gained by anyone either way. Mash will get that caster minion in the melee as well, so no CS lost for either team for this move. Just a little bit of health. Stixxay
is a little bit higher level than Aphromoo because Aphromoo missed out on a CS.
Okay, so that means after the 3rd melee dies in the 2nd wave, Aphro will not be level 2, though he would normally. And that can betray CLG a little bit. If TIP knows about this, they can push right at the level 2 and have a bit of an advantage.
And you see how Stixxay is posturing right now. Because he has that advantage because he got solo XP.
Yep. And if they go in right now, Aphro will not have his shield, but doesn't go into much. Nice little bit of poke there from Huhi. Q in the W, gets some damage down. Fervor for both AD carries, standard stuff. Lulu does have a choice to go Thunderlords or not. Thunderlords is typically more common because laning power is important, but that was a choice.
What would you go on her instead?
You could go for the shielding one. You could go Wind Speakers and just... I'm not saying it's like, yes, you definitely should, but she's someone who will build a locket. After the laning phase is done, you're not going to trigger Thunderlords in a meaningful way anyway. So you have a choice, though it is rarely done. Also, Fang went Thunderlords and not for Forever of Battle, which is up to discussion. I like Forever a lot, though, on almost every marksman not named Corki.
Quinn's great with Fervor, but he wants to go for the burst where he just gets a combo off. And Smithy look for his first game.
Smart early Valkyrie by Pyrian. Of course, if he had done that late, Smithy could have knocked him up and interrupted it. But gets 5 gold for the gank, killing a tunnel off. Missing some CS, having to dodge away, though. Fang really going in on Darshan. And Darshan doesn't dodge the Q, so that means a lot of extra damage dealt in that trade.
Yeah, this is why people don't like playing against the Quinn, because the early power that she has with base damages is insane. And then when she gets Youmu's, well, armor penetration works naturally incredibly well with base damages.
An important thing for those of you who end up playing this matchup at home, do not go in when Ryze is right about to get the full stack passive, because it'll just root you and send 7 spells at your face and you'll lose that fight. So make sure you track Ryze when going for this kind of play, but otherwise a great trade by Fang. And Uhi, always landing the slows, but getting traded back by Pyrian.
Yeah, he's staying even in CS with this Doran shield. And also, Pyrian hasn't used too many potions. So
that was only the first charge there. This is actually a good thing for Pyrian.
Yeah, actually, a little curious that he hasn't been trading more with the Zed.
Early game, it's hard because you just don't have the damage. Like, you have to learn Valkyrie at level 2, and rank 1 Phosphor Bomb auto attack is not exactly better than what Zed does to you.
And you only have E every about 14 seconds at this point, so getting your Thunderlords off.
Yep. And I mean, that's a 25-second cooldown, so you got to wait a little bit of time for that. Pyrian, though, starting to create a small lead over Huhi. Just minor stuff, though. Smithy roaming around the map. He'd ganked mid lane once, burned Valkyrie, walked top lane, killed a ward, but is otherwise just chilling. Proximity I've not seen almost anything of so far in this game, but is actually nearby to Rek'Sai.
Smithy's still towards that top lane, still hanging out. Nothing has really happened from these teams, but I'm anticipating more roams from these supports. I want to see what Gate is able to do on this Bard. Pretty much that notorious roaming champion. Pretty much designed for roaming. Go get me to rewarded for it.
Go pick up Chimes, get the move speed buff, walk into a lane, hope you land a Q. Know what you meant. Yeah. I mean, technically you do get Meese by getting Chimes, so you weren't exactly wrong, just indirect. Pyrian's starting to get really poked out. Huhi gaining levels is going quite nicely.
Yeah, the first few levels for Zed are a little bit rough in ranged matchups. You want to use your Shadow to harass, but you want to make sure you're not in a position where they can capitalize on that with the jungle game.
But as much as that matchup might be rough, Huhi is down all of 2 CS as the first 6 waves collapse or so. So really can't complain much here. Smithy spots that Proxen is over there, and they're going to go right in for Pyrian. Huhi not 6, but look at that! Great flash away from the knockup by Smithy. Ignite will not quite get the kill. Pyrian just barely limps away.
Yep, and Zed hitting that critical mass right now. Level 6 now for Huhi. He was just a few CS away from that. Pyrian still holding on to his exhaust, though, so when he gets back to lane, he has the ulti. He's not at that gigantic disadvantage, but he still has the chase down of the flash available on Huhi's side.
And meanwhile, look at this dual lane right here. CLG actually well ahead, up 10 CS right now with only a few left on the field. Afro and Stixxay, again, I really like Lulu for the laning phase. She's very good at it, and they've actually pushed Mash and Gate off a number of CS here.
Yeah, she was always a lane bully. That was kind of in
her team fighting was questionable.
Sona. Her team fighting was questionable, but then boom, once you have so much AP available to you, she just becomes this gigantic asset. She scales incredibly well with it. That's why we're seeing her in solo lanes. But Xmithie looking for a gank here. The TP canceled.
All right, it does create the cancel from Fang, which now is maybe an opportunity. Both players actually started a TP and canceled, so just the fact that Impulse were ready to teleport right on time made CLG click the abort button there, and maybe they'll retry, maybe it'll fail. Those are the 3 options. Mash and Gate just still chilling in lane. And honestly, it's been I don't want to say fully docile laning phase. You've seen players trading each other quite voraciously, but it hasn't translated into kills just yet. Now it's on to Huhi to roam down to this bottom lane. Fang is in danger.
Darshan charge.
Darshan triggers, lands through it, puts in the damage, and here comes Huhi, flashes in. He's going to ult after Fang flashes. There's no way out for Quinn. Goodbye, pop! Goes the first blood for Huhi.
Huhi with the roam here, and Xmithie actually walks into the mid lane, making sure that no CS is wasted, and they're able to continue picking up gold. They're going to get damage on this turret, and there's nobody in this vicinity for TIP. All of their members are top lane. with Purion still in the mid lane. So this turret's actually going to take a substantial amount of damage, especially since there's no TP
But
either.
here comes
But look at this.
Proxin. The stun lands. After's ignited. Gets the summoner heal. And they won't chase through. Gate's got to be careful. Heals himself back up. And now Stixay could knock down
Ren?
Proxin. And he will with Ren. He's still going forward. Ults Aphromoo in. They're going to find some damage on a Gate who doesn't trade back. A 3-for-0 to CLG.
And CLG get off to a gigantic early game lead here. 8 minutes in, picking up 3 kills for themselves across the map. Even more turret damage is going to come down here. If they're able to clear this wave, threaten MASH.
Well, CLG known as the Kings of Lane Swap, but winning the laning phase in mirrored lanes as well looks quite good. As they just slink away after getting some turret damage and getting the minion lead here. Well done to CLG in the early game.
Yeah. Proxin gets the cocoon, gets the jump on him, but Aphromoo with the flash and the heal there from Stixay to keep him alive. And Proxin still looks like he wants to fight, doesn't immediately pull out and repel away.
Yeah,
so Stixay with the chase there. Got a tweet earlier today about him being an unsung hero. He's definitely showing up in this laning phase against the bot lane of TIP.
Definitely some great stuff from him. So, CLG now off a comfortable 1.1 thousand gold lead before 10 minutes. I want to see how much they can use that there because Stixay has some pretty big items in the belt. Cutlass and Hurricane, or not Hurricane, but a recurve bow is solid. And of course, half of Youmu's already done for Huhi as well. Has all the longswords he needs from it. So, the room to make plays is definitely here.
Yeah, and CLG definitely have the composition to deal with TIP. Once they got this small advantage, it might just snowball.
He's got to be careful. Magical Journey does not seem to be up. He can't get anywhere away with this one. Just still getting auto-attacked. A nice double bind from Gate keeps him alive. But yeah, taking a lot of punishment here running across the map. Aphromoo playing really aggressive alongside Xmithie. I'm almost forgetting that it's support Lulu. Normally you see mid laners roam so much in this champion, but... Ooh, this could be big. Tempered Fate hits Aphromoo. Proxin wants to get the cocoon. Is going to land it onto Xmithie, who walks in to tank it. Of course, still not the most durable Rek'Sai. No tank items built just yet. But enough to stay alive. However, that does give TIP control over the blue buff. Purion gets it without any questions asked. And Impulse don't lose too much.
Yep, Fang has that ultimate, so able to roam to the mid lane very quickly to pick up the minion wave. But Huhi looks like he's going to roam down bottom as this minion wave is going to crash against this turret. Possibly get more, possibly go for a pick on a Fang here from the brush.
Huhi goes right in, gets the slow, gets a ton of damage on this one. Ignite on as well. There's the ulti. Fang's got nowhere to go. And yet again, Ma means nothing extra or even less. A kill for Huhi, 2-0.
Huhi, he looked like he was taking a step backwards with his synergy on CLG. Well, he's making solo plays across this map, roaming and being attentive. He had to take TP for most of this season so far to get into these fights, but he's roaming earlier on Zed and showing.
Yeah.
That this style that he had back when I remember him from Fusion days. Remember?
Yeah.
He split push LeBlanc, split push Zed. This is right in his wheelhouse. He loves playing this champion and getting to that critical mass point where nobody on the map can duel him, and he would sometimes cost his team the game.
Sure.
Because he wouldn't group up and they would get 4v5'd. But
yeah. But yeah, I really like that pick. That pickup by Huhi was very smart to identify that Fang would run down to the bottom lane because it was getting pushed in, wait in the brush alongside the path, gank him like a highway robbery, and it was really, really well done by Huhi. Great pickup there. Down in CS to Purion doesn't mean all that much. He's trying to get kills for his team, and that's worked out so far quite well.
Yeah, sacrificing a little bit of his laning phase for pressure all over the map.
Yeah. Another longsword picked up as well. He is just stacking the damage as best he possibly can. 1,000 gold combined for Youmu's means you pick up the things up sometimes in between. Purion, though, will be able to wave clear pretty safely. Valkyring away from Deathmark isn't hard either, so getting more kills in mid lane might be hard, but look at this TIP and CLG really in a battle. Nice hop away by Stixay.
Xmithie from behind, though. He's going to tunnel over this wall.
And they push Lulu in towards one while Rek'Sai knocked up the other. Tempered Fate gets all three! So Gate's going to casually walk out, get a two-man stun, and live, but they still got the pick up onto MASH.
Yeah, despite the swag ulti and getting 3 people, still, MASH goes down, has Flash available, but Xmithie was just, they didn't see him coming.
Yeah, Flash knockup from behind. Really beautiful stuff there by Xmithie. His first assist of the game, already 3 kills and assists for the CLG members down in this bot lane here. So they've been doing wonderful things in their plays in this lane. CLG are very far ahead. No kills to TIP, no turrets, no dragons.
Yep. Can they make the perfect game happen? Huhi is already off split pushing in a side lane up against Fang.
That's not an easy matchup. And I love this, by the way, the choice of CLG to swap those laners around. Fang, rush to Hexstring.
Exactly.
To try to survive Rise. That's cute, here's Zed.
Prioritizing the magic resist and then having it swapped on you. It feels awful when that happens.
Yeah.
You really want to just swap it back.
I spent 900 gold on nothing. How wonderful.
But usually they don't. You usually want to swap it back, but you don't do that. It's so strange how that ends up happening because you're not used to playing from that lane sometimes.
Yeah. And thing is, Zed, even though he doesn't have teleport, is a natural split pusher, so team's very used to playing around this specific play style, and CLG could be just fine.
I'm curious if he still goes for a Blade of the Ruined King. Second item. Just because it helps you split push with the attack speed.
Yeah. I'd be curious to see what the build is because we don't see a ton of Zeds. Smithy wants to go in. Pyrian staying a little bit too far forward, but they bait it with the stun. Smithy! Ooh! Great ulti by Afro to keep him alive, but now on to Pyrian, and the last Praise Seeker hits. Goodbye to Corki. Tango down, and CLG have control of mid.
On this is going to be another turret going down in favor of CLG. Top lane wave actually gets shoved in. Mash? Can he get that top lane turret while all this is going on?
He's going to get as much damage as he can, but he's not part of this team whatsoever. CLG is still pushing.
Zed, from the side here, who he may be wanting to get a piece of this fight.
He might. We'll see what piece he can get there. Looks like CLG will surrender, so there will be peace for now in the mid lane. Only turrets going down. TFP giving control over to Counter Logic. Top lane outer does go down thanks to Mash's splitting, but now comes the re-engage. Proxen, a great stun to stay alive. Who he dives right in, but gets tempered, faded out. Can't do much here. Aphromoo has turret, aggro, has to run away. Lives with 800 health though, that's not a big problem.
Who he was trying to engage there, but he actually got hit by a blinding assault and couldn't see who he wanted to get on. So he W'd through and then just had to walk out because of the Quinn blind.
Well done there. Good skill shot lands by the TIP top lane and jungler to keep the team afloat, but it's 5,000 down, 14 minutes in. Impulse have not found anything meaningful to do so far with their time. And again, it's Gate being found by Smithy. A great tunnel to get away. With CLG really putting the pressure on. 3 turrets, 6 kills already, 14 minutes in. They've really created their own openings, and they've done well with them.
And CLG, this will be a good step for them if they take this game in this fashion and continue this, because inconsistency has been the problem for this team. Finding the groove for them, making sure that they don't play to the level of their opponents, and that they get the game out of their own hands and just gets away from them.
Right now, CLG definitely well into control. This game is in their hands, to be honest. 5,000 up. Here's the first dragon as well. Rend is saved. It's only Smite by Smith that takes it down. That's fine. Pyrian spotted by Stixxay. All these wards. Q, auto, auto. And then Rend does hit. Nice play by Stixxay. Flashed in. Whoa! He really wants this kill, and Stixxay gets the solo kill. Look at that one.
That was really nice. Stixxay hit the minion for an extra leap to the side. Also increased the range of it. Fang looking for... Ooh!
He's going to get him. Goodbye, Stixxay. Assist goes over. Nice kill by Fang. I don't want to say not worth for Stixxay, but it did die at the end. And TFP actually, with map control, CLG all recalled off of that push. They were out for so long. They had money to spend. They had health bars to replenish. TIP actually immediately pushing back across the map and getting a turret.
Yeah, that's such a strange play to make because you think in your head, I traded my flash for killing a member, but I died for a flash as well.
Yeah.
So it ends up being one of those
was
ones,
better for TIP.
Yeah, it's net positive, better for TIP. And you think about it from the perspective of CLG. Well, you really wanted to make this play.
He had so many wards though. No one is below.
That's so nice.
Right. He's got complete coverage to know what's going on. And he runs super early. That's actually a pretty big miss by Stixxay.
I wanted it for the slow.
So I think he thought he was still in range of killing the caster minion because he hit it twice. 2 attacks, Rend at level 9 kills casters. And that would have given the reset. Means he could restack. The base damage is higher than the per stack damage, so if he was in range of the casters, that was optimal. Speaking as a Kalista player, I know all these like little tricks. But he wasn't in range to kill the caster minion, so he burned Rend early, which almost got him killed. In the end, it worked out, so it's okay. But could have saved some health there.
Yeah, but that's one of those plays that you look at afterwards and you say, well, I probably shouldn't have been that aggressive. I killed the Corki, Quinn killed me in return, so giving a kill over to the Quinn, and it's also shutdown gold, is not worth it.
Sure, I think you're right. So, unfortunately, cash negative for CLG, but they're back across the map. 4,000 gold up. They're going to feel fine about this one. Getting some poke down with Huhi, Smithy, and co. Bottom lane tier 2 now under fire as all the outer turrets are already dead.
Darshan split pushing too.
Yeah, getting big on that rise. Tier and Rod of 8 is already stacking.
Really far ahead of where Fang is right now. So much damage on Darshan's side that Fang really can't even stand in that top lane at the moment. Especially with the item build that he's going. He's got multiple pieces of different items here. Looks like it's just going to be a Maw, and then maybe a Phage afterwards, Sterix, so he can survive. So I think he's going Maw Sterix right off the bat, possibly neglecting the Neomus.
Yeah, that's weird. I feel like Fang would have liked to finish Sterix a bit sooner. He had gotten the pieces of it. And there's the Jarm's Fist, but yeah, running to Serrated Dirk is interesting when you're dying to a Zed. That's fine. Minor itemization things don't usually cost you games. Bot lane tier 2 under fire, though. CLG still sticking around. Fang is going to find Darshan, and maybe that push towards the MR is going to matter, but there you can see Darshan gets the passive stacked up. Fang overstayed. Didn't respect the turn from Darshan. A great kill by the CLG top lane.
Yeah, he's a level up too, so he has that rank 2 ultimate, and he just throws out the machine gun damage. Darshan has TP, and they have to respect that on the side of TIP. They're going to give up this turret, damage on the top turret as well.
Yeah, they gave up bot lane tier 2 to give up a kill and top lane tier 2 turret itself. So a ton picked up for CLG in the last 25 seconds here. Counter logic up 7,000 now off those plays.
Yeah, it's been pretty clean since they started picking up those 3 kills around 8 minutes into the game. But package here, does it have Darshan's name on it?
Pyrion wants in. Fang has teleport. He's going to use the bird form to run into bot lane. And Pyrion says, can I find Rise? Wow, jumps really far forward, gets the exhaust, and wants the 1v1. Darshan walks in, because why wouldn't you? But that'll mean more cooldowns are back up. That means the kills come through. Worth it.
Definitely worth it there. The package and the huge chase down.
Yeah. I would not have expected that to work. Props to Pyrion.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons we're seeing 80 carry Corki in the mid lane.
Yep. Because
mid laners are usually the ones who will dive forward that far.
Yep.
80 carries are like, no, that's a little too risky for me.
Wild Twitter would have done it.
Yeah.
Let's be real here.
Would you have done it?
If I had realized I could have gotten the kill, yes. I just didn't think he was going to be in range. I just didn't see that coming.
It's a long range on the package, but
yep. All right, well.
Huhi? Yeah.
Herald picked up, goes to Huhi, the split pusher. The minion buff means something, but the damage and the move speed means a whole lot more for him. So Huhi's going to have really no opponents that can stop him from continuing to push down. Baron is up in 20 seconds, which means they leave their non-teleport split pusher top lane, their teleport split pusher to the bot lane, and the rest of the team can stay mid.
Yeah, it's the 1-3-1 here. They also have Rek'Sai, so Rek'Sai is mobile as well. But I'm looking at the item build here. It's a Cinder Hulk for Proxen. I really, really, really like Runic Echoes on Elise.
Yeah, but he's the only tank.
The only tank.
He has to frontline.
It is triple AD carry. You have to do that. But it just
I know.
It feels great.
Bad not to have Runic Echoes on Elise. But about 1 out of 10 games we see it because of comps like this.
Also, Huhi's going to go for the Black Cleaver as his second item here.
Okay, I dig that.
Cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
More damage than it was before, less HP.
Sure.
Nobody's really going to be stacking armor on the side of TIP, but he still shreds base armor.
Yeah, so it's just going to be... Yeah, it actually is better than the Last Whisper as far as killing squishies. And he's already got Yomu, so what is he going to buy except Maw? Well, Gate taking some poke. Mash waiting around. Fang wants... Yeah, he doesn't want to fight Huhi. There's no chance he wins this one. But Huhi will stay safe and let him just wave through under the turret. But that means Huhi can roam first. Fang still spotted. Smithy wants to go in. He gets a flash knock because here comes Huhi, and here comes the team fight. Shadow's coming across. Up on a mash he goes. Way too much damage to deal with. That will be a kill picked up. Huhi gets away safely, but now he's on the wrong side of this fight. Jumps back over to the Shadow, but he's still going to go down. Kill goes over to Gate. A 1-for-1, but it gives CLG control over this mid lane tier 2. Bit of damage coming through, and they may stay to knock this one down despite the backdoor bonus. In fact, they will.
Jump in between 2 turrets. Everybody has to run through and try to pile on. And Huhi goes for a dive and tries to, I guess, earn some style points.
Yeah. I think it was the right choice, though. CLG very decisive. They've got the gold lead, so push them off the turret, try to get a kill trade in the process, and then knock that thing down.
Now, they get a lot off of it, though.
Yeah.
They get to clear the jungle on the way out. They get the blue buff. They get the mid lane turret.
Yeah.
So, yes, of course, net positive for CLG, despite it being a 1v1 or 1-4-1.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. And I really like that. Like, Huhi pushed the wave and said, guys, I'm roaming, let's go now, and he got the flash knockup. Huhi's already coming right now.
Yep. He's already coming from the side. It's a 1-3-1 collapse around the turret for the pinch. Knockup from Smithy, knockup from Afromove. Huhi jumps in, uses his combo onto Mash, tries to drop turret aggro, but there's actually nobody to get it because the Bard ulti came down. So Afromove couldn't pick up turret aggro there, so Huhi takes a decent chunk. He comes back and yeah.
Yeah, the rest of the team collapsed on his ulti shadow as Pyrion chased him out of the base. It was really, really smart coordination by TFE on the backside.
Yeah, I actually liked the Bard ulti a lot because it made it so nobody could take turret aggro from Huhi when he came back out. But here we go, another engage coming out here.
Looking for the play, knock up onto Fang. That could be a dead Quinn, and it is going to be. And a trade as well as Gate goes down a 2-for-0. He was solo killed by Darshan, actually. Props to the Rise player. Now Proxen about to be knocked up by Xmithie. Finds it. Spider takes a bit of damage. They trade back. CLG get a 2-for-0, and once again, control the map.
Yep, mid lane has a mini wave coming up right now, 2-for-0. And it's so hard to break these sieges. You might have to use Lucian culling on this wave if you're MASH. But there's still an opportunity for an engage here. Huhi has ultimate, so does Afro.
5v3, good luck to TIP. They've got to run. Stixxay pops the QSS. That doesn't take too much anymore.
Pretty smooth, but I saw him stop for a second.
Yep.
Not frame perfect.
Not frame perfect. He'd be a bad speedrunner. It's okay, moving in. Inhib could be going down. Darshan gets a big set of shields. They've already got the kill onto Pyrion. Here's the re-engage by TP. They cannot kill off Huhi, though. It's going to be a 3-for-0. It's a delayed ace as the team respawns. No, actually, it's killing Gate twice. MASH stayed up, but it's 3-14. CLG taking the pie.
Playing a very clean game right now. They might go for the 24-minute win here. They're going to get at least one Nexus turret, but look at this, Darshan!
Just finds MASH, deletes him off the map, 3-15. They're going to keep going. Down goes Fang, and oh my word, under 30 minutes. No one's here left to defend this one. Goodbye, CLG. Crushed the game in quick fashion, decisively, with plenty of kills. 24 minutes, CLG tied for second.
Moving themselves up in the standings. Much cleaner game there. They can be happy about that one. Huhi was definitely on top of his roams during that early game. Ends the game 4-1-2, but also Stixxay 7-1-5. And Stixxay had a great performance. That one death where he jumped forward, he still mechanically outplayed, but he definitely was showing that, you know, he's got big shoes to fill, but he's up to the task.
Yep. Let me look across the game. Really great stuff by the CLG duo lane. Huhi made the split push work quite nicely. I think definitely you could say Stixxay, you mentioned him already, was the big workhorse of this game. And CLG did not make it look close. They got a couple of kills early on and then just completely took control. No delay whatsoever, jumping in against the squishies constantly. Xmithie was happy to flash knock up, Huhi was happy to just dive the backline and pick people off. Yep. And Afro just helped make it happen. A Stixxay just dumped the damage in.
Yeah, Afro actually has a lot of damage in this game. He's at 5,800, and that's more than Elise, Lucian, and Bard.
Yep.
So he's right behind Xmithie by about 600 damage. So Afro actually showed up this game with a lot of harassment on that Lulu, showing that as a support, it's still a very viable pick.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually really do like support Lulu. I think she's quite strong. Best performer here from TIP. You expect it because it's the poke Corki, but Pyrion, 16,000 damage, actually highest in the game. Did what he could for the team. Honestly, laned pretty well. He had a couple of really nice solo plays, but Impulse just fell apart that game.
Yeah. That game was mostly the outplay in the top lane where the AD carries started picking up kills. And then also on the bot side of the map, Huhi roamed twice, killed Fang twice, and then was put in the lane against him when he had already built a Hex Drinker for the Rise matchup. So CLG actually played the map appropriately with the lane swap and really kind of screwed over that Rise pretty hard with the Quinn.
Yeah, I totally agree. A lot of very smart choices by CLG. No, but
with the Z, yeah.
Yes, I know what you mean. CLG, a lot of good choices. To win in 24 minutes just means you got to do a lot of good things right quickly without hesitation. So props to them for a very tenacious game. But now for a deep dive into that commanding CLG victory, let's send it down to Riv, who's Rift side.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I am joined by Huhi of Counterlogic Gaming after their decisive victory over Team Impulse. Coming out into this game, you guys looked like, after the first few kills, as they just sit on the desk, you guys had everything rolling. Coming into this game, what were you expecting from Impulse? Because you played so clean.
To be honest, we just practiced versus Immortal this week, and then we naturally became a little better. So we just naturally beat them, I think. And then we practiced a lot of instead of practicing strategy, we tried to figure out our pick and bans.
And kind of directing this towards you as a mid lane player coming in for Counterlogic Gaming this year, what type of player do you like to be? We saw the Zed play, it was really clean this game. Is that what fits your role, or are you just there to play anything for the team?
I usually like to play assassins, but I'm a player that wants to sacrifice anything to win. So I can also sometimes 2v1 mid, let Darshan get farm, then I'll get denied, like something like that. Yeah.
Or dive into the base, go really hard at the end of the game. Things like that we see. So finally.